Hey YouTube, welcome back to another myth busting series where I walk through 3 different terms, phrases or opinions and tell you whether or not they are true. 99% of the time, they're not true. That way, you can hide from all the bullshit. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If you have any questions throughout, throw them down below, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Let's go. Number 1, the Stairmaster for the purpose of building the glutes. Okay, Stairmaster being that machine in the gym where you're basically mimicking walking upstairs like an absolute lunatic, thinking that that machine is going to help towards building better glutes or legs. Now, what we've got to think about when it comes to building muscle mass is the stimulus that whatever we're doing is providing. Okay, to build muscle mass, we need to be providing a decent enough stimulus. Is the Stairmaster going to be doing that? No. Unless we're ramping up the resistance, where we're literally having to drive down as hard as we can, almost like we're doing something like a leg press, then no, it's not going to be giving enough of a stimulus to get a good or effective response in terms of adding muscle mass. Could we sit here and argue that there's the potential for some on some level, depending if you're an extreme beginner? Maybe. But if we're just thinking about the most effective way to add muscle mass, the Stairmaster definitely isn't it. Now if you want to do a bit of cardio and you enjoy the Stairmaster, you enjoy that burn it gives you for your legs, then by all means use it. But don't use it with the thought process of this is going to help me in terms of adding muscle mass towards my lower body. Because if that's the thought process that you're having, go and move towards more resistance / weight training exercises, whether that's machines, free weights, whatever it's going to be. That's going to be more effective and give you more of a return for your time. Number 2, more sweat equals more fat loss. This has even resulted in brands coming out and bringing out wraps where people put around themselves to make them sweat more, people wearing more clothes to make them sweat more. More sweat doesn't mean more fat loss, okay? All more sweat means is that the condition that your body is in, or the conditions of the environment, just making your body sweat more. You're just losing more fluids. That doesn't mean more fat loss. If anything, especially if we're going to extreme cases where we're sweating a lot, all that really means is you're probably at a risk of dehydration if you're not being careful with then fluid intake, okay? So it's not equaling more fat loss, it's just making you more dehydrated. And if you do have a big session where you're sweating a lot and then you go and jump on the scales and you realise your weight's dropped, yeah, you've lost water weight, not fat loss. And lastly, number 3, shocking the muscles or confusing the muscles for growth, okay? Some people will mix up their exercises quite frequently, whether that's day to day or sort of week to week, to try and shock or confuse the muscles into growth. The thought process that bringing in bringing in an exercise that your body isn't used to is going to promote more growth. And this isn't true. If anything, because progressive overload is such a big important factor, so increasing volume over time, whether that be through weights, reps, sets, is such an important factor for muscle growth. In a sense, having movements that we're actually very familiar with and can rinse that process over time is going to be more beneficial than bringing in new movements that we have to take a little bit of time to progress and get used to, where we can do that effectively. So my advice would be stick to a program, stick to certain movements, rinse the hell out of them, so get as much progress out of them as you can. Then when progress stalls with them, then rotate them out for new movements and then repeat. Keep those new movements in so you rinse them, they stall, repeat. Don't mix and match, try and throw in different things, because shocking or confusing the muscles for growth just isn't a thing. So there you have it. 3 different terms, phrases and opinions and whether or not they are true. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please drop a like. If you have any questions, throw them down below. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.